Hello there, YouTubers. It's the 25th of June, year 2025, both that Australian Eastern Standard Time / Sydney time and local Beijing or Peking time. So I don't find myself in a particularly adequate shape to make a video and continue to talk about my own shitty life while I review you guys my face, because I suppose I look quite exhausted and too pathetic to just show it to you guys. But in any regards, in this filming session, I would like to just rant and vent about life in general, about parenthood, about the highly narcissistic nature of humanity, and blah blah blah. So just bear this in mind, that you owe absolutely nobody, nor any entity. You don't even owe God, or God, Jesus, Yahweh, whatever, because He created you. He created us utterly without our prior consent or agreement. Though yes, since He has all the power, He has all the might, so He has the privilege to call the shots, to make decisions as He sees fit. That says might makes right. You won't have any right unless you acquire power, unless you exist as a strong and independent and self-sustaining individual with the ability to self-determine or self-determinate, without anybody's power to sway you, to indoctrinate you, or to fool you into doing what they want or desire. And that, unfortunately, parents play a huge role in shaping our own individual archetypes and characters and blah blah blah, and therefore more or less can lure us into playing their scripts, and fall into the traps they sprang. And yes, unfortunately, I suppose I kind of fell into another trap by that wicked woman again. Today, unfortunately, I responded with a bit of a more rage and indignation than I should. you know, unfortunately, I let her harvest more of my precious and energy and time and strength. I won't get into too much details since I do not want to make this video too lengthy or tedious for you guys to watch, since I care about you guys and the overall experience of you guys while you watch or listen to my videos, my contents that I present and share here on YouTube. Just just be yourself. Do whatever that fits your own agenda, your own desire, or needs and wants, and stop giving a rat's ass about everyone else's thoughts or opinions. Don't give a flying piece of shit about what they think, about how they perceive you. And give them no time, nor your strength, nor your energy to so that they can't influence or indoctrinate or control you and play right into their scripts or traps. No matter how hard they try, just don't let them have their way. And that can include the Matrix or even God, Jesus Christ, the Almighty himself. Though I'm not saying that you should actively or proactively rebel against God and do everything he finds abominable or revolting or repulsive. But on the contrary, do whatever that makes you feel good, that brings you fulfillment and pleasure, while in the meantime ensure compliance with your own conscience and your bodily rhythms and the natural universal orders and constant within the this whole creation, this whole space and time, or what we generally refer to as the Matrix. In other words, whatever you do, make sure you get to reap the benefits and pleasure and sense of fulfillment. But in the meantime, do not do so. Do not trade, your health, your emotional and physical and spiritual and psychological well-being for those accomplishments or standards, guidelines of accomplishments set by men, set by society, set by or pre-configured by the Matrix, because the Matrix wants us, particularly the Matrix wants us men to stay weak, to stay depressed and helpless and powerless, so that it can harvest us, can harvest our energy and strength to the maximal possible extent or amount. Just don't let the matrix, don't let those energy vampires have their way. In that sense, we stand fast, we stand together and defile till the end. And well, I don't know what else, what might happen to me afterwards, since currently I just, well, I won't say that I am severely depressed again today at this very moment, but I do feel powerless and a bit helpless to continue pushing forward, despite the fact that I do have formulated a rather clear and highly specific plans of actions, to get the hell out of Dodge ASAP. Since unfortunately, I kind of let my conscience, get the best of me, and just handed over another crucial item to that wicked woman. I won't specifically elaborate on what sort of item I handed her over, but I perceived that such item no longer served me much more benefits or use, so I'd rather just let it go. I'd rather just unload and cast away all those dead weights, all those liabilities that I can that I already struggle so hard to carry or on my own. I would like to well, in case I do get an opportunity or a window of opportunity to launch, to launch my next mission of exodus / adventure out of this flat. I would like to carry as little weight as possible to enable me to travel light, to travel light, though not necessarily travel at the speed of light, no. Though more or less I kind of hope that I could travel at the speed of light, away from far away from this shitty, pathetic and hostile, unfulfilling, utterly meaningless, shitty life, and depart to somewhere more peaceful, more friendly, or just alternatively just cease to exist completely, just as if I was never born at all. If you guys can catch my drift. So to summarize this rather short filming session, do not let your parents indoctrinate or brainwash or deceive you into believing that you owe them something or some time or some strength that you need to to use to look after them or do their will or play into their scripts. Just whenever you spot a window of opportunity to break free, to distance yourself from them as far away as possible, just do it and never come back, since the arrow of time dictates and stipulates that time can never travel backwards. Entropy always increases. And once we are awakened, we can never ever tolerate their ignorance, their fakeness, their hypocrisy. Not just parents' hypocrisy and lies, but also the matrix, also the man-made standard, man-made social norms or conventions imposed upon us without our consent or agreement. They just want us to submit to them willingly, either willingly or unwillingly, without any questions. And that's just plainly disgusting, revolting, unethical. But in order to do so, in order not to fall victims to those energy vampires ever again, we must become and stay far from weak. And once we gather in strength, they will certainly wane in power. Their power will certainly begin to diminish according to the universal constant that stipulates the conservation of energy and momentum. The balance, the equilibrium will force their power to diminish or wane once we become stronger, once we grow even more far from weak. So long story short, the only way out is to become and remain far from weak. Because might makes right. So yeah, I have had enough of their bullshit, of their indoctrination, of their dehumanization and torture and abuse. Though I'm not saying that I may do something insane or crazy, I will certainly, sooner or later take my own, physical actions to another level, to distance myself from the whole bullshit system of from this whole bullshit bullcrap system of dehumanization as far away as I can. And yes, I will more or less apply the art and skills of ghosting society, ghosting the system and blah blah blah. But I don't really expect you guys to do the same or whatnot. Just do whatever that floats your own boat. I won't give you guys a harsh or a rigorous instruction or commandment saying that you must do this or do that, or you may suffer a certain repercussion or severe consequence, like the rest of the matrix or the rest of the NPCs community or society tell you. So just go your own freaking way and ghost all those that serve you no benefit or fulfillment. Go your own way and ghost society if you have to. Yeah. Thank you very much for being with me to the end of this filming session, and in case you have found it useful or enjoyable, consider smashing that like button and subscribing. Otherwise, feel free to post your comments, or feel free to point out what I might have overlooked or misunderstood. And yeah, if God's still willing, or if the Matrix still willing, I'll see you around again on YouTube, Patreon, BitChute, Rumble.com, MGTOW.tv, etc. So cheers, stay out of trouble, and stay far from weak. Take care. Bye. Cheers.